Hi, good morning everybody, and welcome to Live with Joy. Happy Monday everybody. I'm going to wait a few moments for everybody to start to find that post, and then we'll get started with what we're going to be doing today and kind of what we're going to be doing for the week, which is not really specifically focusing on anything, but just splitting up our week between our strength, cardio, and our core work, okay, that we're going to be doing. Once you come on, I'll remind everybody in a few moments as people start to find that post. But what you're going to need for today are going to be your dumbbells. You will need your mats. And you'll also see over here where I have a chair and a pillow because we are working lower body, and I do want to incorporate some of those stronger moves that we went over a couple of weeks ago, okay? Of course, it's going to be optional. You can also have a couch instead of a chair or an ottoman. Anything that you can kind of sit down and stand up in is what you're looking to have, okay? But if you're uncomfortable or you don't want to have a chair or a couch, that's fine. You can just do kind of regular squats when we get to that point as well. So that will be completely up to you, okay? But if you can and you want to go into the stronger moves that we're going to do with single leg, stand up and sit down, you're going to want to have your chair, and you're going to also want to have a pillow for some of the stronger moves where we bring the knee down to the floor. If you're going to come down to the floor with that knee, if not, you won't need to have that pillow. You'll just be coming as close to the floor as you can. Of course, I have all kinds of options for you guys that don't want to do too much bending or getting too low to the ground. So don't worry about that as well. We've got plenty of modifications and options for everybody, okay? But if you want to go for some of those strong moves, you're gonna wanna have your chair or couch, a pillow, all of your dumbbells, and your mats, okay? We're gonna have 4 circuits where we're on our feet working strong exercises today. So because I'm calling it strong legs, because I want you to try to really focus on getting through those moves. We have some stronger moves, but I also want you to focus on maybe going heavier if it's possible, even for 1 or 2 of those sets. So I'm gonna go a little bit on the heavier side today because I want this to be my strong leg day. So I'm gonna work on using some heavier weights, maybe a little bit more than my body is used to handling, in order to really work that strength and build a little bit of extra muscle today, okay? But of course, you don't have to. You can stick with whatever weights you want. If the weights are too much, you can put those to the side, use only your own body weight, and you don't even have to have any weights at all. So again, you're gonna figure out how you feel. And some of the moves are already strong. You don't really need to go heavy with those weights. So again, you need to decide based on the exercises that we're doing and how your body is feeling today, and whether or not you want to go stronger or you want to kind of stick with what you normally do, okay? First thing we need to do is warm it up, so let's get that music going. Let's get our bodies warmed up, get our legs prepared for the hard and strong work that we're trying to do today. Marching it out right and left, standing up nice and tall, getting those shoulders down, and we'll track it back. Engage that center and breathe. Think about this good posture throughout the workout. Keep it here, never march. Let's heel it out, little press to the front. 8 more here, last 8, 7, 4, 3, 2, take it side, side, step touch. So today we're gonna have lower body, strong workout. On Wednesday, we're gonna do our upper body. On Friday, we're gonna do full body strength. And in between, we're gonna have cardio and some core flexibility and balance. Take it across right here with that tap and that reach. So that's your plan for this week. You're gonna have 3 strong strength days with cardio and core and balance and flexibility, just kind of spread in throughout. Reach it overhead, take it up. 4, 3, 2, take it back across, reach. Eight more times, 8. 4, 3, 2, hamstring curl, pull back. Let's go 8 more here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Knees to the front and pull. Last 8. 4, 3, 2. Back to the hamstrings for 8. 4, 3, 2, reach across and tap, 8, 4, 3, 2, reach it overhead, up, 4, 3, 2, take it back across, 8, 4, 3, 2, step, touch, and press. 4, 3, 2, heel across, push forward. 4, 3, 2, march it out, stand tall. Keep marching, roll those shoulders back, let's roll. Roll 2 more times. 1 more, take those legs out and hold, hands on those thighs. And hinge forward with a flat back. Let's hold and roll it up halfway. Stretch that spine. Take that flat back down. Roll it all the way up, allow that head to come up last, and roll those shoulders back. All right, we are supersetting today. 2 exercises per circuit. Watch our first 2. We're going to start with our straight leg deadlift. So we hinge forward with straight legs, but we do keep a slight bend in those knees, keeping them nice and soft. Okay, first exercise right there, and then weights are coming up on the back of those shoulders for those front squats right here, keeping the feet exactly hip to shoulder width apart. Now if you're uncomfortable bringing those weights up, you can also squat keeping those weights down in front of you, okay? So it's going to depend on how you feel, okay? You decide. Start with those weights to the front, shoulders down the back, and again, if you want to encourage muscle growth, see if you can go a little heavier with those weights today. Get set, and start by hinging forward and popping yourself back up with control. Now, if you're going heavier with those weights, you might need to go slower to really find that control today, which means you'll do less for each circuit, for each set. You'll do less of them, but you're going heavier, so you'll be going stronger for each one of those reps. Okay, take it where you can go. Find what feels comfortable to you. It's all about those strong legs today. Get that last one in. You've got 5 seconds to transition, either keeping the weights to the side or bringing them up and onto the back of the shoulders and sitting into those squats. So you'll see, nice and slow I'm going today to really make sure that I can control the heavier weights I'm working with today. Good, take those weights back to the front, make sure you're in good posture, and back to hinging, keep that nice straight back. You don't want to round those shoulders as you come down, you want to keep it nice and flat with those shoulders, hold back in your position. Back is engaged. And if you're going lighter, you can definitely be going faster so that you get more in. But if you're trying to go a little stronger, a little heavier, you're going a little slower today, okay? Get your last one in, weights either staying to the side or bringing them up, resting on the back of those shoulders and sitting into those front squats. Feet staying hip to shoulder width apart. Good, focus on those strong legs today. All about the strength. Trying to have muscle growth today, if possible, with super control. Heavier weights if you can take it there. We got 4 sets of everything. And release, take those weights to the front, reset that body, and hinge forward for set number 3. Keep a nice straight flat back, don't let those arms or shoulders round forward. Hold those shoulders back in position. The champions. So we don't necessarily have anything new unless you haven't taken some of the classes with these exercises in them. But we are adding some of those stronger legs in if you can today that we did a couple weeks ago when we did those quad advancements. So it may be that you're going to get those for the first time today if you didn't join me for that quad advancement class. Okay, so you take it at a pace that is manageable for you, because that will be your first time. Good, let's get that final set in. Weights to the front, shoulders down and back. Hinge forward, and make your way back up. Good, get that last and final one in for that final set. Weights either coming to the side, staying there for your squat, or bringing it up for your front squat. Sit it down and rise it up. That last one in, and release. Good, get some water if you need. I'm going to reset that clock. I'm going to show you the next two exercises. This is where I'm going to add that pillow in. Again, you don't have to, I'll show you the options. So I'm going to hold on to one heavy weight here, and I'm going to first start with a wide squat. So I want my legs wider, with the toes slightly turned out. I'm going to hold that weight like a goblet position, okay? And sit down and up. Now, if you have a lighter weight, you can hold it like this. But you can see how thick and heavy mine is, which is why the goblet holds is better for that one. Okay, then we're gonna step into a staggered stance. Now you can either stay here, draw the knee up, I want an extension out through the quad, and then back behind that pillow. If you can, you're lowering all the way down to that pillow, and then coming up to get that knee and that extension. Okay, but if that's too much, you don't have to add that lunge in. You can just do that staggered stance to that knee extension. Okay, all the way down, if you can, into getting that extra added split squat down to the floor with that knee, okay? All right, so you decide whether you're gonna start with the knee down on the pillow or just that staggered stance, come up into that knee and extension. But before we do that, we got that wide squat to start with. Okay, so you're gonna be wide with the toes turned out, holding on to that goblet position with that weight, and go. So wide squat, that's where we're starting. Okay, and then on that second move, now remember, you're only gonna have to do 2 sets on each side for that second move. Okay, so you're gonna either stagger that stance, or you're gonna stagger that stance and bring that knee down to that pillow or floor, okay? That's completely up to you, you don't have to do that. Right here, you wanna get that nice wide squat down and up. By being wider than the shoulders with the toes turned out a little bit, we are incorporating strong glute muscles here. Good, stagger that stance now, either here, or starting from down here on that pillow, and you wanna drive that knee up, extend and lengthen out, and then take it back here, all the way down to that floor if you're coming to that pillow. But once again, you can eliminate that bend and just bring it here to that knee, into that extension. And if the weight's too much, don't worry about the weight. So again, see how slow I'm going? I'm working with heavier weight today, so I've got to make sure I can stay in control. Getting that last one in, and then separating those feet wide, toes turned out, and right back into that wide goblet squat right here. So you gotta have strong arms the entire time, especially if you're going heavy. So my arms are gonna wanna give out probably before my legs even want to. Holding onto this weight. So again, even though we're working strong lower body, doesn't mean that the upper body doesn't have to activate with these moves. My arms are completely activated in this isometric hold right here. Good, right foot forward, left foot back. Now you're either starting from that staggered stance, or again, all the way down on that pillow. Knee drives up, extend it out, step it back, lower down if you're coming to that pillow, or just step back without lowering down. And again, you can be going faster with these moves, especially if you're lighter. I'm taking it slow today, going heavier. Good. I'm going to release for a moment. Pick it back up in position and go. So if you need to release that weight in between, you can. Set number 3. And then returning back to the other side for that lunge, knee into that extension. Good, getting that last one in. Left foot forward, right foot is back in that staggered stance. Or again, starting down on that pillow. Drive that knee up. Extend running that leg out. Step it back. Lower down. If you're coming back to that pillow. Good, take it in. And one more set right here. In position, wide goblet squat right here. Press it up. Good, finishing with that right foot forward, left foot back, starting here or down on that pillow from that kneeling position. Knee, extend, and take it back. Last one. And release. Good. Take that weight out. Shake it out. It's smarter if you need. That pillow can get out of the way. You don't need it again. All right. We're going to bring that chair over or that couch. Again, if you're going to use it. Now, you can do this without any weight, or you can hold the weight in your hands, okay? I'm going to show you without the weight. We're doing that staggered stance. So remember we talked about the kickstand of that left heel. Closer that heel is to your body, easier it's going to be to get up. Further away, it's going to be harder. Off the floor, even harder. So this is your strongest one, doing a full single leg. Stand up from that chair and sit down. Now, if that's too much, get your kickstand down. That heel to the ground, but the toes stay up. So you're still getting more weight in that one leg to come on up, okay? Then we're going to step forward with that front leg. Get that leg up behind us and go into that Bulgarian split squat. Now, of course, your option, okay, if the single legs are too much, you need to work on just standing up and sitting down. So keep both feet flat for all of those exercises. And for your split squat, if you can't get that foot up, you're just working right here, okay? Another option, just press the heel down and come on up, working on getting into that lunging position, okay? All right, so I'm gonna grab one lighter weight, and this one I can hold like this, which is what I'm gonna do. But again, it's hard enough to work that single leg stand up and sit down. You don't even need to have that weight, okay? Start seated, both feet are flat, or that kickstand, or that leg off the ground. Right foot is flat, get set, and go. Let's bring it up and lower down. So once again, you can either be working on just your stand up, sit down, both feet flat, with that left heel on the floor, close or far away, depending on how hard you want it, or with that leg completely up, holding it off of that floor. So all of that weight, you have to work on getting up and down with that right leg. And again, that's going to be up to you and whether or not you can work it. All right, now take that front foot, step forward with the left, get that right foot onto the back of that couch or chair, and we're bending from here or just do your regular split squat with that foot on the floor. It doesn't have to be elevated. Make sure your upper body stays tall. It doesn't lean forward, and the knee doesn't go forward either. Straight down. Good. Bring it back into the seat. Left foot is going to be flat. Right foot's going to be on the heel with the kickstand or elevated up so you can fully stand up and down with it. Or both feet flat. Working on your full stand up and sit down with both feet being flat to the floor. So if you are already struggling with both feet flat, standing up and sitting down, you're not going to advance it to the kickstand or to this single leg movement at all. You're going to work on your stand up and sit down. Good, getting that last one in. I'm going to step forward with my right, get my left foot elevated or into that static lunge position without the chair. And right here, lowering down and up, keeping my upper body tall. Then I'm coming straight down and not forward. Good, stepping it back. Both feet are flat. Left foot is on the kickstand, right foot is the one that's lifting you up with that flat foot. If you're doing single leg, either with that heel down for your kickstand, or with that heel up, or again, take that first option of both legs, standing up and down. Good. Step that left foot forward in that static lunge position or that Bulgarian squat position where you've got that foot elevated behind you. Welcome to the show, we the showstoppers, we the ones. What we do, we go hard. Welcome to the show, we the showstoppers, yeah, we the ones. What we do, we go hard. People in the front, to the left, to the right. Let's bring the hype, yeah. Good, focusing on each one, very individually, one at a time. Both feet flat, left foot flat, with the right heel on your kickstand, or with that right heel elevated, make it harder. Find the adjustment of that foot, where you need to put it to be your strongest, where you're able to come on up from that seat. Lifting strong through that left leg. Welcome to the show, we the showstoppers, we the ones. What we do, we go hard. Welcome to the show, we the showstoppers. Good. Step your right foot forward, left foot elevated or behind you on the floor in that split squat position. Okay, like you're lunging down and up. Body is upright. And I'm coming straight down, not forward. Like an elevator. Straight down. And straight back up. Good, getting that last one in. Awesome job, guys. Let's get that chair out of the way so we can work one more time with clear space. Okay. Setting that clock. One more circuit on our feet. And then go back to heavy. Now I want you to get the legs out nice and wide. Okay, we're going to go into this kind of plie squat position. Now those of you who can, bring the weight all the way to the ground. Knees are coming out. That's what I want you to do. And pick it up from that floor. If you can't come all the way down, just go where you can. So you're not going to leave it on the floor. If you can, I want you to release it and then bring it up, okay? Then we're going to turn the toes in slightly. We'll do the same thing one side at a time. Put that weight on the floor if you can, and then lift it up. So see, I'm only bending through my right side. But again, if you can't get all the way to the floor, small move is totally fine, okay? And if you want to take a second option on exercise 2, you can take that leg out and in, bring the feet together, okay? All right, so I'm gonna start with the weight on the floor, with those toes super turned out in that kind of plie squat position. But as I come down, keeping my body lifted and open, I'm trying to reach for that weight, and then I'm lowering it back down, staying there, releasing it to the floor and coming back up. Or again, keep it in your hands if you can't come that low. Get set, and go. So you'll see if you can get that weight all the way to the floor, it's going to force you to really get that nice big range all the way down to get that weight to the floor. But what I don't want you to do is hinge too much, like to bring it to the floor. I really want you to bend your knees to try to bring it to the floor. So if you can't get to the floor by bending those knees, then just go where you can go. Toes super turned out. Good. Now hold here. Again, you might want to do that hip abduction or turn those toes in. I'm going to bend only through my right leg. Take that weight on the floor and then push up from here. So now the weight is coming right to the inside of that right foot, and then I'm picking it up from there. Letting go for a moment, holding that position, and then I'm pressing up. So now it's coming more to the right than it is the center as I leave that weight on the floor. For this one, you do want to hinge forward, okay, a little more than when you're center. So I am hinging to get that weight to the floor, but at the same time, I'm also bending my knee. Good, bring it center, turn those toes out, bring it all the way to that floor, and here I want to be a little more upright than hinging. So that I really am using those inner thighs to come down and to press back up. And I can feel those inner thighs burning right now because I'm really pushing that range here by bringing the weight all the way to that floor and then back up. Good, we're gonna turn those toes in slightly, step it in and do that hip abduction with the straight leg out to the side, or bend through the left. I'm bringing that weight all the way to the ground and then I'm pressing up from there. But if you can't come all the way down, just take that weight where you can, keep it in those hands. Here, I'm even releasing it, holding that position, and then grabbing and pressing up from there. But I'm only bending one leg at a time, and I'm also hinging slightly forward through the hips to come into that side lunge. Sticking my booty back on that left side. As I come down, hold it center, turn those toes out, upper body tall, lower down until I get that weight on the floor, press up from there. You guys stay right there, I'm coming in to say hello. Hey guys, how are you? Something on my screen, there we are. Hi, good morning, happy Monday everybody. Keep working through it, get those legs out nice and wide, those toes turned out. Keep pressing and lifting, really utilizing those inner thighs to press yourself back up. Less than 10 seconds. Good, you can feel those glutes and those inner thighs. Really hard at work for these. Good, make sure you turn those toes in a little bit or you're stepping all the way in for that hip abduction. And right from here, I'm gonna come into my side bend. I'm gonna take the weight to the floor and I'm gonna press back up center from there. So again, now I'm only bending through one leg. So I'm bringing that weight more towards the right side and inside of my foot. And then I'm pushing back up from that leg to extend myself all the way back up to the center. Good, get that last one in. Come on up, hold center, turn the toes out. You want to be wider and open. And then straight down. Release that weight if you can all the way to the floor. And if you have a very light weight, you're not really going to be able to bring it to the floor. It's not going to have a nice big heavy base like I have with a heavy weight. So you might not be able to leave it on the floor, but you can bring it all the way down, stay there for a moment and pull back up. Okay, so it's really going to depend on the weights that you're working with. Good, get that last one in, turn those toes in or step it in for that hip abduction. Right here, bending into that side lunge. I'm bringing that weight all the way down and then pushing back up into my center position. Last set right here. Hang in there. Either that straight leg hip abduction is coming out and in, or that side lunge. And let's put that weight away. Grab your mat, because we're now going to bring it down. Make sure you've got some weights close to that mat. Actually, you know what? I don't even think you need any weights. Yeah, we don't need weights. We can do this all without weights, okay? You might just want one heavy weight for the hip thrusters, okay? So I'm gonna grab one heavy weight, but again, you can do that without weights. You don't have to, but if you want the option to have for those hip thrusters in that bridge position, okay, we're gonna work on our kneeling sissy squats, which you guys have done several times now. We're gonna take it back. Wherever you can go, pull up through those quads. You're thinking about those quads pulling you back in, okay? Could be a tiny little move, but as you get more used to really engaging those quads, you can go back further. Then we're gonna come onto all fours with one knee up to hip height, and we're gonna extend and bend for a hamstring curl. Okay, so for both of these, you don't need any weight, okay? I'm gonna point my toes. If you prefer them flexed, you can. I like the heels out of the way. We're going to start up here, shoulders back and down, open chest, and we're just going to take it back until you feel that knee in the quads and pull yourself back up from there. 30 seconds on that clock. Okay, and if you can't get any movement, it's okay. You can really honestly just stay in this position and think about engaging those quads, and then if you can get tiny movement, feel free to get just a small movement or just get used to staying right here. Okay, or a tiny little move like that, barely doing anything, but you'll start to get that engagement there and start to get used to that movement. But you can also just get used to staying on the knees right here. Now come on to all fours. Let's get that right knee up to hip height, extend and bend right here, working on that hamstring curl. So you don't have any resistance. We're just working on holding that knee up. That's going to work that knee, isometric position, and then that hamstring curl to bend and extend that knee right here. Good, lower back down, come on up onto those knees. Once again, either staying right here, getting just used to this position, or starting any kind of movement you can get, and pull back up through those quads to come back up. Good, finish up that last one, come down into all fours, bring that left knee up to hip height, flex that foot, and extend and bend through that hamstring. We are really isolating both the quad in that first move, and now the hamstring in that second move. We got a couple of really isolated exercises that hone in and focus on that quads and the hamstrings. All of our other moves so far have really kind of been compound, utilizing more than just one, and of course we are still utilizing more than one to maybe hold our position, but the focus is a little bit more isolated to the quads in this move, set number 3, and the hamstrings in our second move for those hamstring curls. Again, if the movement is too much, just focus on staying on your knees. You still have to engage these muscles just to hold that position. Come on all fours, get that right knee up, extend and bend, thinking about the hamstring being that driving force that bends and extends the knee. Because that is the muscle that works to bring that heel towards your hamstring by bending the knee in that direction. It's the hamstring muscle that works that movement right there. Good, keep going guys. You got it, bring that heel towards your bottom. Last 3, 2, and one more time. Last and final set right here. So again, you could just be staying right here, getting used to this position, not even moving, you're still going to engage those quads just to hold you in that position. But if you can get any movement here, you're gonna really start to activate those quads even more than just kneeling. And just make sure that you've got some nice cushion under your knees. If you don't have a rug like I do, you can fold your mat several times to provide that cushion. Bring that left knee up, flex that foot, extend and bend right here. Good, nice and easy, lower it down, take a little stretch if you need, and I'm going to show you your next set of exercises, which is going to start in a side lying position for a hip abduction, straight leg up and down. So now we're doing this lying down, really isolating through that hip, and then we're going to take it here with a straight leg, lift it up to cross over, up and out to the side. Okay, so you're going to work those hips and those glutes right here. And then we'll switch sides, okay? So for now, let's start on our left side. Bottom knee bend to help stabilize you. Top leg straight, hands in front or on that hip if you can stay balanced. And we're gonna lift that straight leg up and down right here. So you find that range that works for you. No added weight here, just focusing on where you can go with that straight leg. And then this is gonna be the same leg we're gonna work on that second exercise. Once we bring it onto all fours, but we keep this right leg extended. So we're gonna really fatigue out those hips and those glutes here in these two moves, back to back. Good, keep this leg straight. Bring yourself up onto all fours. Lift that leg up, tap over the other leg, lift and take it outside as far as you can go. So you wanna make these half circles with those legs. Coming up, and coming over. If you need to bring it down on your forearms instead of your hands, you could do that as well. So if you felt more comfortable here, that would be fine, okay? Here, if you can manage to hold yourself up, and you've got those strong wrists to do so. Good, get that last one in, come center, lower down, and we want to take it onto the opposite side. Top leg is extended, and we're lifting up and down. Set number 2, but we're working on the other side now, giving that other side a rest, and then we'll come back to it. Good, rotate, keeping that leg straight, lift it, cross it over the other one, and then half circle it to the outside of that body, outside of that mat. And again, you can take it to your forearms if it's too much to be up and on those hands. The bigger you make those half circles, the more you're gonna work through those hips and those glutes. Take it where you can, manage it though. Good, get that last one in, take it center, lower down, and we're back to the other side, right here, straight leg up and down. You should be starting to feel that fatigue set in, all through the hip and that glute muscle behind you as well. Good, get that last one in. This is the leg we're working as we flip it onto all fours. Lift that leg up, cross it over, and make those nice big half circles. Down on your forearms if you need to. The bigger you make those circles, the more you're working. So keep working on that range. Getting those half circles as big as you can. Lift that leg up as high as you can. Take it out and across as much as you can. Good, last one. Back to the center and flip it for your last and final set right here. Starting with that side lying hip abduction right here. Hang in there. Feel that burn. Good, rotate over, all fours right here, lift that leg up, cross it over, and make those big half circles. Good, get that last one in, sit back, and take a little moment there. And I do have one more circuit that I'd like to get in, so if you want to stay here with me, I know we might extend over our time just a little bit, hang in there with me if you can. Okay, a lot of explaining in some of those circuits today, so you need that extra time. We're going to bring our feet about hip to shoulder width apart. We're going to lift them up. We're going to take the knees apart, squeeze them into hip width apart, and come back down. So we want this a little open, close while we're up there, okay? Then we're going to rotate. We're going to lift that leg up, and we're going to do the zipping of that leg up and down, okay? Final set right here. You can do this with or without a weight on you. You do not have to have that weight. We'll make it easier for you to flip over and do your other sets. So come on up here, get those hips up, open up the legs a little bit, close it, and lower back down. You're on that clock for 30 seconds right there. With or without a weight, you don't need to have the weight. You could be right here, up, open, close, and take it down. Okay, that weight is there only if you want to have that extra resistance for that hip thrust, but you don't have to have it. Good, get that last one in, weight down to the side, flip it onto your left side, lift that right leg up, and we're gonna zip that bottom leg up to the top. Now isolating through that inner thigh, bringing that bottom leg up. Also staying strong through that top leg to hold it in position. So again, we are adding some of those stronger leg exercises we learned in a nice strong leg day, full leg day. Take it center, bring it up, lift, open, close, and down. Open and close, and squeeze those glutes to keep those hips lifted. Good, lower down. Take that weight to the side, body comes to the opposite side, lift that top leg up, bottom leg is gonna zip up to the top. And if you can't get that leg up there, just focus on trying, even if it doesn't go anywhere. Even if you just hold this position and try to lift that leg up a little bit. Doesn't have to come all the way up. You might not be there to get that leg all the way up yet. That's okay. Lift, open, close, and take it down. Good, rotate to the opposite side. One more set right here. Lift that top leg up, and once again, if you can't get it all the way to that leg, that's okay. Even if you can't barely get it anywhere, all the way up if you can manage to get it up there. But again, you might not be there yet. That's okay, keep working on it. Hold that leg up and just try to engage here as much as possible. Even if that foot doesn't come up, you're trying to get it up there, even if it's not moving. Good, last and final set, center, with or without that weight, right in those hips where you feel that lift up. Open and close once you're up there. Getting in that last and final set of both, and you're all done with your strong leg day on a Monday morning. Good, last one, finish it out. Take that weight to the side, lift that top leg, and zip that bottom leg up to the top right here. And take it to the center. Relax and hug your knees in right here. You are all done. Fantastic work, guys. You had compound movements that were using multiple muscles of the lower body, and we also had some of those isolated movements that really focused on individual muscle groups for a nice strong leg day today. Take that left foot on the floor, extend and lengthen that right leg up. Let's just rotate the ankle. Good, take it into the opposite direction. Hold it center and give you a little flex and point. And then flex and hold and pull that leg in towards you. Really lengthen it out. Really think about lengthening out right here through the back of that leg. Take that right ankle onto the left leg. Let's get a nice little hug in here. Good. I want you to release your right hand and place it on the inside of that leg that's up. Give it a little push, and at the same time, take that other hand, pull the back of that leg. So a little push and pull right here. And release, hug both knees in. Take that right foot onto the floor, extend and lengthen that left leg up. Just hold it there as you rotate the ankle, and then take it into the other direction. Back to the center and give it a little flex and point. And then flex and hold and pull that leg in. Think about lengthening all the way up through that heel. Down and all the way down to the back of that leg. And now take that left ankle onto the right leg. Hugging in with both. Stay there for a moment. And then let's release that left hand, place it on the inside of that left leg. And we're gonna push and then pull with the other one. Really giving that nice stretch, getting deeper into that stretch through the hip. Good, nice little push and pull. And release, hug both knees in. And let's start to roll yourself up. Prone into your feet, hands on the floor. I'm gonna allow my bottom to come up first and roll myself up from there. If you feel comfortable coming up another way, please do so. Once you come up to those feet, start to roll those shoulders back. We're gonna take those feet apart, bring those hands on those thighs. I'm gonna give a nice back stretch. Let's take that straight back down and hold, and then round it up, opening up each one of those vertebrae. Stay there for a moment, and then take that flat back down and roll it all the way up, allowing that head to come up last. Roll those shoulders back, and let's take a deep breath in. And exhale, one more time in, and exhale, and you guys are all done with that strong leg day. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow we'll definitely be working on some core. We're gonna make it a little bit intense, so we get a little bit of a cardio drive happening as well. Okay, so that's what you can expect tomorrow. Make sure you have your mat. You may or may not need dumbbells, but your mat you'll definitely need, okay? Awesome work today, guys. Thank you again for joining me. We'll have upper body strength on Wednesday, and we'll have full body strength on Friday with our core cardio, flexibility, and our balance all kind of intertwined into all of it this week, okay? So I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, if you do want to join me Wednesday for the in-person classes at the JCC, you do need to be a member. You also need to register, so go to the miyjcc.org, and you will be able to register there so that you can come and join the class in person. Otherwise, you can get it virtually. Tomorrow we will be 10 o'clock a.m., just as we were today, and then Wednesday will be 9:30, okay? So I'll see you tomorrow at 10, and have a good rest of your day on this happy Monday morning. Bye-bye, guys.